Well, hello and welcome back, and a huge thank you for coming back to the little channel known as Marika and Little Old Me. Where am I? Sitting at one of my favourite places, and it could become one of your favourite places. This is the picnic area just up from Mandrea Beach, of course in Paphos on the island of love, which is Cyprus. And quite a nice view in the background. Of course, just over there is the blue Mediterranean Sea, and it's the middle of November. It's a bit cold. Yes, it is indeed. And as I've threatened for a while now, probably in the next few days, I will be putting on a long-sleeved t-shirt because it's getting cold. Hopefully, wherever you're watching from, your weather is not treating you too badly, shall we say. Now, primarily, according to YouTube anyway, more than 70% of the people who watch the channel are watching from the UK. There are many people who watch from the likes of Iceland, Germany, France, Holland, and we do thank you very, very much indeed for that. And of course, one or two who watch from Cyprus. Thank you very, very much. But predominantly, we are a channel that broadcasts to the UK, the British audience. Why is that? Because there are many British people who dream of coming to Cyprus. Many come on holiday, and many people fall in love with the place, and many people would like to make it their forever home. They would indeed. So this is what the channel is all about, showing you the harbour and the promenade, taking you on the odd adventure into a hotel or two, and of course little sit-down videos where I talk to you about how you could, and the word is could, very, very important word, isn't it? Could. Now, most people dream of coming to live in a foreign land, especially if they're born in the UK. The UK is a fabulous country, and I'm very, very proud to be British. But the weather is not on its side, and it never has been. But there's something in British culture, there's something about us that we always want to go on our adventures. I think it goes back, and this is only a joke by the way, a long time when of course we used to, shall we say, walk into other people's countries and take a holiday there. So I think it's something that's in our genes and it's carried forward, and the amount of people that you meet that you perhaps never met before when you're out in the pub or the restaurant or in a supermarket, whatever it is, somehow you get talking. And they always say, oh, you know, I'm going to retire and go and live in Spain. I'm going to retire and go and live in Portugal. I'm going to retire and go and live in Cyprus. But unfortunately, most of those people don't. There are some important words, could, and I'm thinking about it, yeah? But most people don't make that important decision. Now, decision is a very, very important word indeed. A lot of people say, well, you know, I'm thinking about going to live in Cyprus. I'm thinking about going to live in Italy. But they don't. Because thinking is not something that calls you to action. It's not something that makes your mind focused on what you want to do. You have to make a decision. Now, to make this simple, people often complain about the job they do, even though they may have a fantastic job. But for some reason, they feel that they are undervalued. For some reason, they feel their work colleagues are not as nice to them as they should be. And they say that they are going to go and get another job. But often, when you meet that same person the next year and the next year and the next year, they're still in the same place. They're still in the same job, complaining about the same things. Why is that? Because they say, you know, I'm thinking about. Yes, they haven't made a decision. You've got to sit down and you've got to make a decision. You've got to make a plan and a call to action to go and do something. So back to Cyprus. Many people are thinking of. Many people say, in a few years, I think I'll go and live in Cyprus. I'm wondering whether I should go and live in Cyprus. Oh, when I retire, I'll go and live in Cyprus. Unfortunately, 99% of the people don't. So we're only talking to the 1%, aren't we? or perhaps another 0.5% that perhaps I can persuade to get enough confidence to do it. Now, it's all right for me to sit here and say, look, give it all up and come and live in the sun. That's what you're saying, isn't it? Well, I did it. 18 years ago, I made a decision. I sold a business in the UK and someone said to me, well, what are you going to do next? And I said, I'm going to go and live in Cyprus. And I remember that person said, yeah, of course you are. 6 weeks later, I was living in Cyprus. So I made the decision and I put a plan in action. Now, again, many people will say, well, you know, that was 18 years ago. It was much, much easier. Well, maybe it was and maybe it wasn't. Everyone's circumstances are different and there's complications at any time. If you talk to people that moved to live in a country 30 years ago, they will tell you the complications and the difficulties they had. If you talk to someone that moved, let's say, to Cyprus 10 years ago, they will tell you about the difficulties and the complications that they had. And if you talk to someone who moved here last week, they will talk to you about the difficulties and the complexities that they had of moving to Cyprus. So it doesn't change. And it won't change next year or the year after or the year after. The only thing that's going to change is you. You're the only person that can make that decision. And you might make the decision and you might regret it. And this is another little problem, isn't it? Often we are filled with self-doubt. We talk about our ideas and our dreams to our family and our friends. And often our family tells us, go and do it. I think it'll work. I think you'll have a better life, a better job. Go and start that business. I think you will succeed. But it's some of our, what we call associates. Some people will call them friends, who go, I don't think that that business idea will work, or, oh, I'm not sure, perhaps you should stay in the job you've got. Oh, are you really sure about going to live in Cyprus, Portugal, Spain, Italy? There's lots of political turmoil. Airline flights are going up in price. This is the kind of thing that people talk about, and these are the kind of things that start to negate. So they sit in your mind and they fester and they grow and they put you off it, and you delay doing that thing that you want to do, whether it is changing job, going to buy a new car, moving house, moving country, moving to live in Cyprus. I ask you, I implore you to sit down and decide on what you want to do with your life. If you are thinking about coming to live in Cyprus, write on a piece of paper what you want from living in Cyprus. Write on a piece of paper, what do you get from living in the UK? And there are many things that are very good that you get in the UK. Okay? Lots of people sit around and they talk badly about the UK. There are many, 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 many brilliant things about the UK. Unfortunately, there are one or two things that are not so good about the UK, and these are the things that set us on this path to want to move abroad. There are many, many good things about Cyprus, and unfortunately, there are a few things that are not so good about Cyprus. Now, we've got a bit of a wind going on. I don't know if the camera twitched then, but I'm in one of these little picnic areas, and now and again a breeze comes in and it clips it, and the little unit, shall we say, moves around. So I apologise if the camera was flexing about. Remember, we are in the middle of November, and well, winter has arrived, isn't it? So back to it. Now, I know it sounds like I'm rambling on, but I'm not. I want you to understand that if you want to come and live in Cyprus, you have to really want to do it. It doesn't matter how much money you've got. You may have lots and lots and lots of money. So money is not the problem, is it? But you don't do it. You may not have enough money, or you believe you don't have enough money, so that's your excuse for not doing it. But neither of those are excuses. You didn't make the decision. That's why you don't live in Cyprus. So if you've got lots of money and you make the decision, you can come and live in Cyprus. Perhaps you think you haven't got that much money. But if you make the decision, guess what? I'm pretty sure that you, very, very soon, much, much sooner than you think, will find yourself living in Cyprus. Now, if you want help and advice, someone to hold your hands, someone to help you through all the paperwork and all the bureaucracy and all the things that you've got to do, why not reach out to us via our website, marikaandme.com. Of course, on our email, relocatetopaphos@gmail.com. Telephone number, WhatsApp, reach out, let's schedule that WhatsApp call, and you can ask those questions to me face to face. And I will give you the belief and the confidence to take that next step. We know there are thousands and thousands of people that are dreaming of coming to live in Cyprus. It is our job to help you and to guide you. So like I say, get yourself a piece of paper, write the pros and the cons of living in your mother country, in this example the UK, and write what you believe to be the pros and the cons of living in Cyprus. In some cases you may be wrong, but perhaps you can ask me those pros and cons that you've written down, and I honestly will give you the truth. Because some things are not as good, but the things that are important are the weather. It's much, much better. And most of us, our moods swing dramatically because of the weather. This is one of the main problems with living in Northern Europe, because the weather is, shall we say, not that good. So it makes us feel that little bit depressed, that little bit not wanting to do things, shall we say. Whereas you live in a Mediterranean climate, you do things, you get out, you get up in the morning, you go for those walks, you go swimming in the sea, you go in the swimming pool, you go to the gym, you just go for a coffee, whatever it may be. But the weather plays a huge part in our lives as human beings. So the weather, if you come to live in Cyprus, is certainly on your side. The cost of living, well, I would say, and many, many people would agree with me, that it's about 20 to 25% cheaper to live in Paphos, Cyprus, than it is, say, in Birmingham, in Manchester. Certainly much, much cheaper than living in London. The taxes, well, huge, huge topic of conversation in the UK. Taxes are literally about to go up, or so we're told by the press. And I believe they are going to go up because, of course, the current government doesn't have much choice. Taxes in Cyprus, well, you can Google it and you'll find out that they are, shall we say, much more friendly to your wallet, which means the weather's better, the cost of living is lower, taxes are lower, which means you've got more money, which you feel better again. It's a win-win situation. So I'm going to say a huge thank you for watching. Hopefully you'll hit that like button, doesn't cost you a single penny. Subscribe to the channel, again, doesn't cost you a single penny. And I do thank you from the bottom of my heart. Massive thank you for watching. Hopefully you'll join me for the next little chat, and hopefully we'll be seeing you very, very soon on the island of love. I'll raise a little coffee and I'll say cheers. I'll see you very, very soon indeed. I think I'll go for a walk along the beachfront. Thanks for watching.